So here we are. This video lesson is about present perfect usage. We are dedicating this video to one of the many different uses for present perfect. We're calling it use number 1. So we use the present perfect tense to say that something started in the past and continued in the present. Let's have some examples of this particular use of present perfect now. Example number 1. I have been a teacher for 20 years. Example 2. I have known my best friend for 25 years. And the last one, I have had the same car for 3 years. Now we're going to break each example down into 2 sentences so that we can see how present perfect links past and present. So here's our first example. I have been a teacher for 20 years. What does that mean? First of all, it means I became a teacher 20 years ago. But it also means that today I'm still a teacher. So the beauty of present perfect is that it allows us to put all of that information together into one sentence. I have been a teacher for 20 years. On to the second example. I have known my best friend for 25 years. Let's apply the same principle here. What does that mean? Well, it means we met for the first time 25 years ago. And what's our situation today? Well, today we are still friends. Once again, let's put all of that information together into one sentence. I have known my best friend for 25 years. And here's our last example. I've had the same car for 3 years. What does that mean? Well, first of all, it means I bought my car 3 years ago. But like the other example, it also means something else. It also means that I still have the same car today. So once again, we're going to put all of that information together into one sentence using present perfect. I have had the same car for 3 years. Now let's take a look at the structure for present perfect. We form the present perfect tense by combining 2 elements. The auxiliary verb have plus the past participle form of the main verb. Let's see them in an example sentence. I have been a teacher for 20 years. So here they are, the auxiliary verb have and the past participle form of the main verb. In this case, the main verb is the verb to be, so its past participle form is been. And that's all there is to the structure of present perfect. And now let's see an example of present perfect being used in real life situations. And now, to further illustrate the point I was making earlier on with those 3 examples, we're going to do the same thing with this detective's example. We're going to use his career as an example, and we're going to break it down into many sentences. So let's talk about the detective. So this guy became a detective 22 years ago. 20 years ago, he was a detective. 15 years ago, he was a detective. 10 years ago, he was a detective. And I could go on and on and on until we get to the present time. And then we would say, well, he is a detective today. So, as I said earlier, and I never get tired of saying it, present perfect allows us to compress all of that information into one sentence. He has been a detective for 22 years. And call me a present perfect enthusiast, if we will. But I think that's pretty cool. And basically, that's it. That's what this video is all about. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. And here's one last example of present perfect for you. We've been here, you and I, for about 5 minutes. And if you have understood the logic of this first use of present perfect, and if you're comfortable with the examples that we've provided here, that means you learned one use of present perfect in 5 minutes. And that's pretty awesome.